This coronavirus is bigger than 9/11 or Pearl Harbor or anything we've ever seen before. And on the biggest picture of all, the coronavirus and the coming crash, financial collapse possibly, marks the end of the industrial age and the beginning of the information age. It's a very big move. And the people that are in trouble today are people still stuck in industrial age thoughts. The people that are having a hard time are called BBC, NBC, CBS, because they're still industrial age and they're going to get crushed. The people that are struggling financially haven't moved on yet. Now, if you're in trouble today, my message is not so kind. This is hard talk, not happy talk. The crisis is in your head. Now, that's the bad news. The good news, you can change the crisis by changing what's inside your head. And so I hate to brag, but I'm doing extremely well financially today because as I was warning everybody, this crisis was coming. But it would be irresponsible of me to warn people of the crisis and not personally make changes myself. So right. The good news is the crisis is in your head. The bad news, it's in your head. Well, the virus is real. The question is, how healthy are you? I'm aware I had to become healthier. I don't want some vaccine to protect me. It's my responsibility to protect myself. So I could be a victim right now saying, I have heart disease, diabetes, I'm overweight. I've had pneumonia 3 times. I've had malaria. And all that did was inspire me to be healthier. And so let me give you my definition of health. Health is mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, and then physical health. So I spend a lot of money and time on my mental health, my emotional health, my spiritual health, and my physical health. And the average person goes to their doctor once a year for an annual checkup. That's not health, that's called medicine. And mental health is crucial. I mean, what thoughts do you have in your head? If you think this is a bad time, guess what? You're right, it's bad. But if you think this is possibly the best time for you, you can move forward. And if you can understand that, so those of you at home right now who are sitting going, but I'm going to lose my job, my house, my pension, and all this, it's because you're trapped with old thoughts. And as most people know, is that, when I came up with Rich Dad, Poor Dad 20-something years ago, mainstream media crucified me. They said, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you don't know what you're talking about. I said, the rich don't work for money. Savers are losers. Your house is not an asset. And I was crucified, just crucified. And the good news is, as several of your guests have said, the most important thing you can have right now is not job security, but meaningful work. And it's that spiritual health that gets us through physical health and financial health. Well, what did I know back in '83 was we had no financial education in our schools. Why? 99% of all kids, and that includes MBAs and all that, leave school not realizing the most important piece of paper is not their diploma, but a financial statement. So you look at the richest people on earth today, they didn't graduate from school. Steve Jobs, all those guys, Henry Ford. So the financial statement is for real. So that's all this was about. So what was my mission at that point? To bring financial education so simple that the average person could understand it. So I wrote this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It was turned down by every publisher in 1997 saying you didn't know what you're talking about. I knew what I was talking about, but the academics don't. So we're here right now. This is the biggest transformation in the history of the world. It's from industrial age to information age. But if you're losing money right now, the problem starts in what you were taught in school. Because they never taught you anything about money. They never taught you about a financial statement, like my rich dad did. They teach you that diploma is everything. It's a piece of toilet paper. BS. That's the tragedy. So this is how what Fuller talked about, The prison is inside our head, Buckminster Fuller. It starts with misinformation and misorientation. And he says, how dare our schools punish kids for making mistakes? How else do you learn if you don't make a mistake and learn from your mistake? He says, God designed us. I'm not really religious, I'm not preaching here, okay? God designed us to learn by making mistakes. For instance, a baby learns to walk by falling down. Baby learns, to ride a bicycle by falling off the bicycle. Tiger Woods, the greatest golfer ever in history of the world, because he made more mistakes than you and I did. But our schools punish you for making mistakes. That's misorientation, misinformation. The national debt for World War II was $25 billion. Every day today, they're printing 125 billion. Every single day, that's like 5 World War IIs per day. They're printing so much money to keep this think of a hot air balloon with a tear in it. And they're doing desperately trying to fix this tear, but no matter how hard they try, the tear has gone beyond, it's coming down. So in financial terms, it's called our debt to GDP has now gone from 60 to 90 to 105, it's going to 120. We're bankrupt. And they're going to print more and more money, which means savers are losers, just as I predicted. Your money is going to be worthless in a few years. Wow. So my message is the same as some of your other guests. This is metamorphosis time. Financial education, in Rich Dad's terms, is really financial transformation. And the definition of metamorphosis is very important. Metamorphosis, the definition is the evolution or the transformation from an immature form to an adult form. An immature form to an adult form. Metamorphosis is the same as a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. And Fuller always said there's nothing to predict a butterfly inside a caterpillar. So everybody listening right now, if you're struggling financially, just think of yourself as a little caterpillar. And this crisis is your cocoon. The question is, what do you emerge as? You're either going to get healthier and wealthier, or you're going to go bust. Your choice. It sits between your ears, your heart, your body, your mind, your spirit, your attitude. This could be the best thing that ever happened to you, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, if you turn out to a butterfly, or somebody will step on you like a little worm. It's your choice. The choice is between your head, your heart, your body, your mind, your spirit. That's where the choice, the metamorphosis, the evolution or the transformation from an immature form into an adult. That's metamorphosis. Right. If you grow up mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, financially, and health-wise, voila, this is the best thing that happened to me. But if you're still a victim, you're not going to make it. So the financial crisis, as you know, actually started back in 1903 when those guys took over their education system. And so the reason we have so many people in trouble is you go to school, and what did they teach you about money? Nothing. Now, is that an accident? Of course not. So that's why my poor dad, PhD from Stanford, Northwestern University of Chicago, he hid behind his diploma. It's a piece of toilet paper. BS. He didn't know anything about money. Then he lost his job. He realized how immature he was. He had not metamorphosized. He needed that government pension, the government paycheck, the government benefits. He needed that. And if you're standing in front of the mirror today, with this coronavirus and looming depression, how did I get here is the question. What don't I know? What did my information, education, cultural background, what did not prepare me for today? That's where the transformation or the metamorphosis begins. I mean, you take responsibility. Everybody talks about rights, but we have personal responsibilities too. And unfortunately, our university systems have failed us miserably. And the reason for that is every professor wants tenure. That's my whole family. That was the most important thing about getting a job was tenure, job security for life. And that's what they teach kids without knowing it. They teach kids that life is dangerous and you need to be protected. So they're immature. College professors are some of the most immature. They might be very smart mentally, but immature financially. They can't take care of themselves. So they're teaching kids to be victims. That's why these trigger mechanisms and you can't say words that are hurtful and all this stuff. So they're teaching that you're a victim, you're vulnerable. And what you teach and what I teach is that, hey, don't be a victim, be proactive. So we started this whole thing. Am I the worst case scenario? Am I the biggest target for coronavirus? Yeah. But as Dirty Harry said, make my day.